Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Friday morning trading session. The market just opened up to a flurry of trading. I was watching this first micro-macro cross signal here, but I didn't want to take it without you guys in the room. First micro-macro cross signal here on the Hawk and the comparable sell signal here on the Falcon. Right here, a nice trend change signal on the Falcon. We're back into the hard edge now. Wow, traders are busy this morning. Ooh, the fur's starting to fly now. I'm not sure. Oh, an amazing opening gap this morning. Just huge. Well, looks like the eagle is running away on me too. We had this hard edge bounce. I looked away for a second and the hard edge bounce printed and was already on its way, so I can't get into that one either, which is unfortunate. I think we're going to see a little bit of a rally here. Oh well, it looks like I'm going to have to give up the first few minutes of trading here. But the market opened huge, opened 44.50 or thereabouts. And where did they close last night? They were still in the low 44s, weren't they? Let's take a look here on the eagle. I have a feeling we're going to need the eagle to get a good feel for this. So the market closed somewhere down here last night. North American closed, not much during the Asian session. Then the European session opened, the London open right here, a little bit of a decline. And then there must have been a pre-market report because we got a huge rally going on here starting about an hour before this morning's open. Oop. Sorry, Micah. Micah says, your screen's not coming through. Let me try that again. Now these big opening gaps, and this is a big one. The big opening gaps are problematic. The small opening gaps, not so much, because the small opening gaps, you can almost be sure that the market's going to try to fill it. A big opening gap, on the other hand, you don't know whether the gap is too big for the market to fill in one day. Well, we'll just give them a few moments here. There you go. Denton says the non-farm payroll came out. The jobs report. I guess it must have been favorable. Well, we'll let the dust settle just a little. Crude oil also tailing off, falling like a rock out of the open. So here was this morning's open. Crude oil's done this a couple of times now, where it totally reverses on the overnight trend. It does it actually more often than just a couple of times, but it's had especially large reactions of late. So the market opens, we get a trend change signal, and there's no looking back. Crude oil is another one I might have to start getting up a little earlier still So I can take the crude open. Okay, looks like the seller's starting to dig in a little bit after that early flurry of buying. Starting to get some, we're getting a yellow or a red bar buy here off of a yellow bar. Now remember, the red bar buy is one of these signals that we can actually trade counter trend, or you can take it with trend. Normally I take it with trend when I'm expecting a test of the extreme, and I'll take it counter trend when I think the signal is going to fail, when we've already had a test of the extreme, when it seems like it's more likely that the market might head lower than higher. Okay, let's see if, oh yeah, the test, it did work well. We are getting our test of the extreme off that red bar buy. Okay, it looks like things have settled down a little bit. Time to get busy, I think. Joe is asking, what's the discount code for the Geiger counter again? Let me give that to you guys. That's right, this is I think this might be the last day for Adam's discount, 20% off anything at the store. Okay, we are getting a trend change signal here on the Falcon. Now, a little problematic because we don't really have a trend here, but it's looking like, oh, well, it's going to run away from me, but it's looking like I could set it up for an extra tick or two. I could take it below the low. So the signal still valid. If this bar turns green, then of course all bets are off. Then we're probably in the sideways. Okay, get up there then. I might try on the Raptor here again. I was experimenting with that soft edge sell signal, and oh, I'm not going to get one now. The soft edge sell occurs where the market encounters the hard edge, prints a sell signal. Sorry, encounters the soft edge on your Raptor, prints a sell signal. Oh, well, here's another one. We're anticipating it to move into the hard edge. So in this case, there's not a lot of room, although we might get a good failure out of this. But this would be your soft edge sell signal here, and you would anticipate a pullback to the hard edge. Oh, good. Mark says that the promotion actually runs through to May 10th. So you can, all you guys, you can get your missus a really cool DTS Mother's Day present. Get that special lady in your life the Geiger counter. Here, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. I'm sure she would love it. Just like when you're a kid and you make her that macaroni bracelet. And she actually wears it. Neil says he's having a little trouble with his break-even button on the Raptor. Let us see. Okay, now no signal here, folks. I'm just doing this for experimentation's sake. I'm going to throw in a sell order. See, oh, now, Neil, do you mean the break-even trigger or the break-even button? I'm going to see if we can't get a little bit of, move the market a little bit in our favor here. And I'll try the break-even button. I need it to be at least one tick in my favor. Oh, come on, you guys. Soybeans also falling hard this morning. Well, hard relative to where they were in the overnight. Oh, all right, here, we'll do it this way. Okay, so break even. Oh. Yeah, of course. Why not? Why? I just bought. Why not go the opposite direction? Oh, get up there just a little bit. Okay, that's enough that I can hit the break even button. Oh, I need a stop enabled. That's why. So I need to let this bar finish. Trade Manager will give me a stop. Yeah, then your break-even button works. Now, are you referring to the break-even trigger? So your break-even button won't work if you don't have a stop enabled. You need to have your trail indicator enabled button turned on. All right, we can close that out. That was just a demo, by the way, although it looks like we got a double pullback signal. Actually, maybe I should have left that on. We had a double pullback signal. Here was our signal out of the Raptor, our buy signal. Oh, and another red bar buy here out of the Eagle. So the Eagle producing a couple very solid signals this morning. Okay, Neil says it's the break-even trigger on his Raptor. I'm going to show you how to walk through that. You need to go to your Strategies tab, and I'm assuming you're running the Trailblazer. Whether you're running the Trade Manager or Trailblazer, it really doesn't matter. But they are going to look a little bit different. So you click on your Trailblazer. Here you go to your enabled target, and you click false to turn off your Trailblazer. Then you go up here to the top, and this is where you set your parameters. So your break-even trigger by default is set at 15 ticks. So yes, if your target is only set at 10 ticks, then your break-even will not engage, right? Because you're actually going to hit your target before you hit your break-even trigger. On the Raptor, I have mine, I dial it up to 20 ticks on the NASDAQ for my first target. But if you're running a 10 tick, then you're probably going to want to adjust this maybe to, I don't know, 8, 7, 8, something like that. And then once you have everything to your liking, you can look at the rest of the parameters, the colors and whatnot. Go back down here to your enabled button. You should have actually put this on the bottom so it's easy to find. Click apply and OK. Now you'll notice my targets by default go back to 10. I like a 20 tick target for the NQ anyways. And that should solve your problem. Okay, we had a couple short-term scalp opportunities along with that beautiful red bar buy here off of the Eagle. A green bar sell failure. Remember, red bar buy, green bar sells, the only two signals that we can take counter trend, or that I recommend you take counter trend on the hawk. Although, you know what, folks, I would have probably set up for a with trend signal here, because it looks like I should have got some sort of test of the extreme, and in this instance the market goes the other way. It comes right back with the first micro macro cross signal, which I would probably try to cover relatively deep again because I don't have a macro pull or a test of the extreme yet. Hit our high probability target, and then we hit our macro pullback, and that's where we are right now. Oh, and now we're into yellow bars. Okay, Geiger counter dipping a little bit. Looking like we're going to see some selling going on here, so not that keen on the buy signal at the moment. All right, now let's see if they fail and head lower. Insanely strong market this morning. Crazy strong. It seems like the only way to make it go lower is to actually buy it. So we have our Raptor signal here. Now we're going to be against our stop strategy, so maybe I'll select a different stop strategy. Now this is not the best looking trade. This is a little bit of a test retest type scenario where we've got the market breaking out. It's coming back to retest, and I'm looking to take it higher from here. The problem, of course, is that where these types of situations occur best, these rallies occur best when we come off the hard edge of the trading band. So there's a very real possibility here that we can see a little bit of a pullback. I'm hoping not, for obvious reasons. But we got a lot of sweating to do yet. You can see here on the Eagle, we're also producing a with trend signal, but it's not ready yet. It's actually against the ATR. So we'll see if it can turn over the ATR, give us a little bit of breathing room. What I'll do is I'm going to employ Mike Filigera's little trick here and let the bar finish, turn over the ATR, and then enter above the high of the next bar. Oh, get up there. Come on now. Terrific. Thanks, Joe. Joe says he's going to throw in a huge buy order, and that should get that market to pop up a little bit. Thanks, man. I knew I could count on you. No, they're not liking it. Not liking it at all. Oh, and here's that soft edge sell that we were considering before. And this one is actually followed by a test of the extreme. So very possible to see this market fall from here. Stops are in a good spot. That's the best part about this trade is you see all this old resistance here, all this here and through here. This should lend buying support. And why is that? Well, what happened when all these people who were selling through here, what happened to their orders? Their exit orders were actually buy orders, weren't they? So the buyers loaded up when these orders got tripped. So a lot of buy orders hit the market, and we get that little bit of a pop up. Sellers try to fight the market down again, while all the people, who exited and people who bought in, they're going to be coming in at the same place. There's going to be a lot of buy orders try to hit the market here. And if there's enough of them, we will see the market head higher. But we're starting to get conflicting signals. We're starting to get A lot of these yellow bar clusters, for the moment, they're still bullish. Yellow bars are forming marginally higher, but not the most probable of trades that we've seen. If I wanted to give this trade a greater chance, I could roll it here down to the hard edge. That would give me a lot more staying power. And what I could do, well here, why don't I demonstrate? I'll roll it. We'll keep the trade here, and what I'm going to look for now is I'm going to look for the buyers to respond to the sellers. So the sellers sold here. Where are the buyers going to step in? Initially, I try to give my trade as much wiggle room as I possibly can. Actually, the ideal stop is down here below this swing low, because if we get below there, then I know I'm really on the wrong side of this trade. But somewhere through here, the buyers have to step up again, right? They rallied the market from here. Sellers knocked them down, buyers took it back, sellers said, oh no you don't, and now we're looking for the buyers to say, oh yes we do. And then when we have that confirmation of where the buyers are prepared to step in, then we can get more aggressive with our stops. Jim is saying, how about shooting a trend line across here? That's a great idea. Why don't I do that? So we're going to have one trend line there, which should put us below the swing low, and let's shoot a more recent trend line. So we dip below here. Market's starting to shallow out a little bit here. It's quite possible that we could see them try to head lower. Yeah, James says perhaps another hard edge buy. It's very possible. Very possible we could see a retreat here to the hard edge. We know we always get some sort of reaction off the hard edge. Don't always know if it's a big one or a little one, but we can be assured of some sort of reaction when it gets down there. Yeah, real tug of war going on right now. It is a bull market today. Well, so far. So far, the market's been paying off to the upside. And what I usually do is, if I see the market paying off in one direction, I'll try to stay with that direction until I get strong evidence to do otherwise. All right, so now the buyers have dug in. The buyers have said, okay, we're going to hold this line. So if the market fails here, then I don't want to be with the buyers anymore. Okay, the buyer's getting a little stronger. Oh, Geiger counter needle turning green. Come on, boys, don't let me down. And girls, get up there. Oh, I should have been looking at soybeans, paying more attention to my soybean charts this morning. Let's take a look here. Nice green bar sell on the eagle. Look at that, right off of the hard edge. About 15-20 minutes after the open. Like I say, nice thing about soybeans, once they settle on a direction, they're usually content to go that way for the remainder of the session. Sometimes there'll be a little bit of a pullback. Sometimes they'll stall, but they're usually pretty decent about following through. Unlike the NASDAQ traders, who are all over the map right now. Jim's asking if I'm using a water pick. I guess you can hear that. No, my shaver. I had a really good Philishave shaver for like the last 10 years. And one of the little plastic rings on it broke. And they don't make that plastic ring anymore. So my shaver, which is perfectly good otherwise, will no longer work because the stupid little plastic ring that I can't get a hold of. So yeah, I've got it in pieces here. I was playing with the motor and the shaver. I didn't think you guys could hear that. So yesterday I went out and I bought myself a new shaver, a Panasonic. The nice thing about the internet nowadays, you can review everything before you buy it. I know when you see my picture and you say, "What the heck does he need with a shaver?" Because I wear a beard, but of course I still need to trim my neck and those parts where I'm not growing my beard. Oh my gosh, they're struggling on this bar. Michelle says, go check out the DAX. It looks like there's a nice buy going on the DAX. Okay, let's go do that because I'm getting a little tired of watching the NQ flop around here. Come on, DAX. There we go. Still loading. Here we go. So here's the DAX on the Falcon. And yeah, very steady progression. Nice late filter entry signal here shortly out of the North American Open. Oh, a couple more. Now, in most cases, you're only going to see maybe two late entry or late filter entry signals within the trend. A market like the DAX is going to be the exception to the rule because this is such a huge market, such a strong market. beautiful late filter entry signal there. Depending how you managed your stops, my goodness, you might still be in this one. Either way, whether you went all in, all out, or with a runner, nice little trade. In fact, you know what? Well, soybeans has been working out pretty well. Maybe I'll throw the DAX up on my other chart. I know a few of you are watching it. A day like today, you don't need too many days like that. The DAX, of course, for those of you who don't trade the North American markets that much or live in time zones where it's difficult for you to trade North American markets, the DAX is a great market to trade. Some of this unfolded far too quickly, but it's because it's a European market, of course, you can take advantage of signals in your time zone. So here on the Falcon, we had, well, a little bit more choppiness than I was expecting. My goodness, there's a lot of choppiness in there this morning. The Eagle might have actually been giving better signals. Okay, here's a little bit after the London Open. Well, we got a trend change signal here that actually went somewhere. Late filter entry that went somewhere. That was all right. Trend change signal here. Yeah, things were unfolding very fast out of the open for the DAX. You really had to be on your toes. These signals were printing only about a minute or so apart. Still nursing our NQ trade. I wish I could find this interview on YouTube. I saw it years ago, probably 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago, a long time ago. Well, a long time ago on the internet. Of a young woman who was, if not the most successful trader in Europe, certainly one of them. And I think she only traded the shuts. I mention that because Joe said here, when I grow up, I want to trade the DAX. It's not really, you can make money on any of the instruments. Occasionally, it's nice to have a backup. You know, if you're only watching the NASDAQ and you get a day like this where we're starting to get a lot of yellow bars building, saying that, uh-oh, we've got some sideways action going on here. I'm going to sit aside until we get outside of the sideways range, or I get a signal that I can capitalize on before we get to the top or bottom of the sideways range. This could be a fairly quiet day for you otherwise if you're only watching the one market. So for that reason, sometimes it's nice to have another market to follow, and preferably one that isn't related too closely to the one that you're trading. In other words, you don't necessarily want to watch the NASDAQ and the Dow, although today they're working out okay. Here's the Dow on the Raptor. It too is struggling, but making a little better progression than the NASDAQ. So, okay, maybe it is okay to watch the NASDAQ and the Dow. I used to watch the two of them all the time together. A lot of times the signals are redundant, but it's great to have that lower tick instrument. Okay, so here goes the Raptor. I'm pressing the trade pretty hard with the bar high low strategy. I'm really not giving them any room here. It's time for the buyers to, well, put up or shut up, really. If the buyers are going to get busy, then let's go. You can see our dial meter, it's remaining bullish. Come on, let's see some follow through here, boys and girls. Get up there. Well, we might have seen the move of the day. For the next hour or so, we might be in the slumps unless this market picks it up here in a moment. Joe says, I like that Geiger counter. Now I need a way to find a way to convince my wife I'm buying it for her. I'll tell you, Joe, the best thing I ever did was get my wife involved in golfing. She was a golf widow, so I got her involved in golfing. Now she's a bigger golf nut than I am. Get your wife involved in trading. She'll be a bigger trading nut than you are. Or marry a different woman. Those are pretty much your options right there. I don't know if Michelle is a mother, but I bet she would love to get the Geiger counter for Mother's Day. Yeah, she would. Oh, no, she says. Okay, sorry. Oh, sorry. No, she says she's not a mom, but she would like the Geiger counter anyway. Oh, come on, NQ. Let's go. We don't have all day. We're hovering just below the lows, or pardon me, the highs of the day. The high du jour. 44.56. Boy, we need somebody to tag 44.56. No, looks like they're gonna flounder a little more. I could hold my stop below here. Strategically, this is the best place to hold the stop, just in case the buyers fight the market back. But sometimes it's the case too where there's something to be said for holding in, but there's also something to be said for if the market isn't going to go, let's just cut our losses and look for another opportunity. James says he told Adam that We need the ability to resize the Geiger counter. That's great. You know, Adam pays attention to what you guys say. So if you have any feedback for him, let him know. He'll get the programmers on it. Joe is asking on the Raptor, how many ticks do you have the auto break even set at? I have it set at 15, which is the default, and I'm running a 20 tick target. No, there they go. All right, well, it's obvious the market is stagnating. That huge opening gap is giving it pause. Too many yellow bars here on our hawk. Everything is starting to go sideways. Very non-committal after a big move pre-market. Joe is asking, have I heard of Top Step Trader? Yes, I have. I'm not involved with them too much, but I do know of them. All right, here's a test. Now, you don't need to follow me in on this, but here is the soft edge sell that I've been experimenting with. Oh, come here. Come back here. There we go. And what I'll do is I'll do one of those. Now, the soft edge sell occurs at the soft edge of the band. And I'm experimenting with this signal. That's why I'm saying don't necessarily follow me in on this, because I haven't done enough research on this to determine whether or not it's going to be a valid signal in the Raptor assortment. But what we're looking for is for a sell signal to print off of the soft edge. We're expecting it to move down to the hard edge. And it's always preceded by a test of the extreme. It is counter trend, which is why I'm not that keen on it. But this is one of the perks that I can enjoy as a room moderator, is I can play with these kinds of things. I can test these signals, see which ones work out. Yeah, now that one's going to fail. An interesting note for my trading journal is that even if I had run the deeper stop off of our buy signal, I still would have been tagged right here, as this bar dipped probably just low enough to grab some of those stops. We did get a little bit of a spike in the sell orders, which would have been my stop loss. right in the middle of the trading range. Overall, I'm definitely bullish on the NQ, even though you wouldn't know it right now. I did a presentation for Top Step Trader a few months ago, Joe. It was recorded and should be posted on their website. I forget exactly what my subject matter was. Early trend change signal here on the Falcon. Early because we've had the test of the extreme. And now we're coming back with a trend change signal just as the trend line is flipping over. Everything is coming into sync. Technically, that is an early trend change signal. Not as high a probability signal as our proper with trend signal. And given the current market conditions, I'm not sure that's something I would even seriously entertain. Okay, so it was a note in the journal. It was a good idea to take the stops, take the hit early when the buyers didn't follow through. Because if I didn't get tagged there, I definitely would have been stopped here. Oh, Jim says the ticks actually went under zero for the first time. So the ticks at the New York Stock Exchange, the stocks which are ticking higher versus the ones ticking lower, have been positive all morning. Wow, that's substantial. Oh, yeah, you should, Joe. Joe says he's thinking about doing the combine at the Top Step Trader. They have a trading program that you can participate in. And if you're successful, they will actually pay you to trade. So once you guys sharpen your chops, it's worth checking out. It's a good challenge, if nothing else. Like, trading isn't enough of a challenge on its own, but if you want an additional challenge, oh, what a mess. Okay, Okay, we've got a first micro-macro cross signal. We're still very much in this trading range. Oh, the bar's going to turn yellow and spoil it. So I'm going to have to wait for the next signal. I was going to suggest that we don't take the first micro-macro cross here, even though we're offering up almost all the profit objective. I was going to suggest doing a trade something like that. But now that it's into yellow bars, I'm going to ignore it anyway. But we should get another signal here if this continues lower. My goodness, but they're stubborn. Okay, I'll try to keep a lookout there. Might get a proper trend change signal on the Falcon yet. So here's the down portion, here's the up portion. We'll see if they come back with another down. We're just tagging the lines really well on our support and resistance suite. Look at that, just framing the market nicely. Off the primary resistance up to the next. A swing and then, well, chopped a bit, but it got up to the next line again. Problem is the eagle, still very bullish. Okay, so note in the journal, this particular soft edge sell, well, might be a little too early to say it was unsuccessful. I did run a rather aggressive stop strategy. For testing purposes, perhaps I should have gone with something a little bit more liberal. Give myself a little bit more elbow room. All right, let's see if we can find a real trade here now. It's a good time to check your emails. All right, here we go. Okay, we're getting back toward the top end of this trading range. Well, here we've been playing with the Raptor all morning, why don't we? So looking for a second push on this entry now. The other thing you can do on a second push entry is you can use your handy dandy logic counter and enter above the next bar. This market is bullish. I don't know why it's having such a hard time going higher. Suncom says, good morning, Eric. The crude oil was trading well earlier. Yes, it certainly was, wasn't it? Here's crude oil on the Eagle. You might as well look at a good trending market. Huge decline shortly out of the open. Surprisingly, the Eagle didn't produce a signal. We did get a very nice signal on the Falcon. A little bit of a reset and a with trend signal now on the Eagle for crude oil. The problem with crude oil when you see a huge move like this is crude oil will typically make about 100 tick move a day. So for those of you who are bad at math, that's about $1,000 move a day. The thing is, once it's made that move, that range, it's kind of difficult to say, well, it's got, another however much, another 20 ticks or 30 ticks in it. In fact, I'm checking the day ranger. The average daily range for crude is around 200 ticks right now. And it looks as though crude currently is already up about 175 of those. So we might not expect too much more out of a range out of crude, although yesterday's range was 300 ticks. Crazy huge range for crude oil. All right, so we can cancel that potential buy order. I really want to see this market head lower. The safe play right now is to just short the daylights out of it when it gets below these lows. It's obviously not wanting to go higher. So come on, sellers, let's go. Problem is, it has been so strong to the upside that it makes you wonder whether or not it can actually go lower. Every time the sellers try to head it lower, the buyers can buy it back up. Very frustrating. Annoying is a better word. All right. Joe says the euro is marching on. Let's go take a look at the euro. Because ain't much happening here in the NQ. That is for sure. It will break. It'll break soon. Oh yes, here's the euro, all right. Big run up in the overnight. Look at that. Very nice. Solid signals. A reversal signal here, a trend change signal to the downside, and a very nice progression lower. Has it recovered all the overnight gains? I think it has. Look at what unfolded here in a matter of seconds. All this just went boop, 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 boop. You had no way to trade any of that. Well, we'll give it to the top of the hour, but if they don't shape up soon, I think it's going to be an early weekend. Crude oil is going sideways. Soybeans still tailing off somewhat, as the good old bean market likes to do. Interesting question. Joe asks, does Indicator Warehouse have any plans to make an auto trader for those fast-moving markets? We have discussed it. We have discussed a black box type system. It hasn't really gotten off of the drawing board yet. We're still kind of kicking around the ideas. The programmers are playing with the notion of how it has to be built. I got up early for this. Oh, I could have slept in this morning. Yeah, like Joe says, a lot of seesaw action this morning. You can tell on your hawk, all these yellow bars, that's a danger zone. In fact, we could tighten the trading channel somewhat to look like so. That's the immediate trading channel. Your other tools are showing you similar things also. If you don't have the hawk, excuse me, and you're looking at the falcon, you can see your trend line waffling far too much. Too many color changes here, no follow through, filter breaking up all over the place. Surprisingly, we're getting a trend change signal to the upside. Now that is with trend. Oh man. Well, sort of with trend. A few more bars here and we're going to lose all our trend. Currently we're just ever so slightly still bullish. We're getting these corresponding buy signals on the eagle. It would be nice if we could see it flip the ATR over. That would get us outside of this trading range. But until that happens, I think we're going to remain stuck. Yeah, all the best signals came early. Joe is asking what trend. Yeah, well, not much trend now, that's for sure. But I'm basing it on the early morning action that we saw right out of the gate. Actually, even the pre-market. A little easier to see here on the eagle. Probably shoot a trend line like this. This is the problem we're experiencing at the moment. Right there. Need to get above the high of this bar. Need to see 44.55, 44.56, something like that. And we're off to the races. Okay, we're going to get a buy signal here in a moment. I'm getting all excited. All right, there's the buy signal in the Falcon. I'm going to look at, well, we'll take a second push on this. Actually, I'll let that whole bar finish just the way this thing has been today. And in the meantime, I will get to Mark's question. Mark is asking about the Geiger counter. He says, hey, Eric, how come my Geiger counter looks different than yours? In particular, in regards to the histogram pattern, we both have the NQ June contracts, but you have yours on the Raptor, I have mine on the Eagle. Is it because the data feed provider, or is it due to the instrument you have it on? My thinking is the data provider related. One thing that I have noticed with the Geiger counter is that when it resets itself, for instance, let me reload my Ninja script. It's going to reload everything on the chart. And you're going to see the Geiger counter is going to start all over again. So sometimes it takes a little time for this histogram to print out a little ways, and then yours and mine should start to look similar. But I think it has to do with the starting point when it actually begins plotting. It has nothing to do with the brick size. It has nothing to do with the tool. It's simply the time in sales, but the histogram will depend a little bit on when it begins plotting the time in sales. But after a few minutes, ours should sync up. They should be, if not identical, they should be very similar. If not, you can send me a screenshot of yours and we can send them both off to Ben, and that'll give him something to do over the weekend. Okay, so yet another false break. Again, the ATR did not flip here on the Eagle. So now they're going to go test the lows. Sellers are going to say, haha, we have control of the market. But I'm not so sure they do. Oh yeah, that would be a cool feature. Joe says when you put your pointer on it, it should plot the time of day that the time in sales occurred. So had I run an enormous stop way up above this swing high, maybe that's the key for the soft edge sell. Or the soft edge signal is you have to run a very deep stop above your swing point. Generally speaking, I am not a fan of counter-trend signals. Because once you're in a counter-trend signal, pardon me, that makes it very difficult for you to take a with-trend signal. Oh, you guys got some cool ideas. Bob says should put a start reset button on the Geiger counter and turn it into a trade tracker with a global cursor between the Geiger counter and the price bars. That's a pretty cool suggestion. Adam's the one to send your thoughts to. He's the guy who can make that sort of thing happen. And here we are back at the bottom end of this short-term trading range. You know what, folks? I honestly think we're just going to see the market flounder the rest of the day. If it does tail off a little bit, like we're getting too many conflicting signals here. The hawk is a wash in chop. The falcon just tried to head higher, but isn't. The eagle trying to head higher, but no follow through to the upside. Not since the early morning signal or the opening signal. So I think it's probably a good a time as any to call it a day. If you are going to hang around for the remainder of the session or try to trade this afternoon, I think this continued frustration by the market trying to head higher will send prices lower. I was bullish early on, but I'm not so bullish anymore. So if we can get outside of this trading range, we're getting a first micro-macro cross signal here, but you might want to hold out, just given that what the market's been doing, hold off for the retest signal. and try to take advantage of this move here. Let the market retest the support, show you that it's going to hold, and then sell this part here. Because the problem is this part here might end up in here. And if it gets too deep in here, then of course it will tag your stops and it will not continue lower. It will just continue chopping back and forth and back and forth. All right, so let's button up the room. I know it's a short day today, but hey, it's Friday. And I will see you guys again Monday morning. We'll talk to you then. Bye for now.